Moon phases. Now, what are moon phases? Well, moon phases are the different appearances of the moon in the night sky. Some days you might see only half of the moon, some days you might see all of the moon. But why do you see the moon differently? Well, the answer is the sun. Now, the sun lights up a part of the moon, it lights up half of the moon at any given time, and the way the sun lights it up is what we see on Earth. So, in this image, if you're standing on top of Earth, you won't see any of the moon because the half of the moon that's lit up is not facing Earth. So, that part is what you will see, and the moon will look like nothing. It'll just have no moon in the sky. Now, the sun is lighting up the part of the moon that is facing Earth, which means that Earth will be able to see the moon, and the moon will look like this. Now, there's a cycle that the moon goes through. It's called the moon cycle, and so there's 8 different phases. There's new moon, which is no moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, and waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Now, waxing means the moon is growing, so if you look at it one day and the moon is waxing, then if you look at it 5 days later, the moon should appear to be a bit bigger. And crescent means it's less than half. You could see less than half of the moon, but you still see some of the moon. And gibbous is when you can see more than half of the moon, but you don't see the full moon. Now, so this is where a full moon would be, and the Earth wouldn't see anything. Now, when the moon rotates or revolves around the Earth, you will see that much of the moon when the moon is at that point. And it's just a cycle. It goes around there, you'll see half of the moon. There you'll have a waxing gibbous, and then it grows to a full moon. And now, since we're at the full moon, it's going to start getting smaller, and so you're going to have a waning gibbous. Then you're going to have a third quarter moon, which means you're 3/4 of the way through the cycle. Then you have a waning crescent, and then you're back to new moon. So if you look at all those at the same time, this is what it will look like. So when the moon revolves around the Earth, the appearance of the moon to Earth changes. Now, the cycle of the moon to revolve around the Earth takes 29.5 days, which is about a month. So, the time it takes to go from a full moon to another full moon is 29.5 days. So, remember, moon phases are when the moon's appearance changes from Earth's perspective because the sun illuminates or lights it up. Now, the sun lights up half the moon at almost all times, and in rare cases it won't cause eclipses, but we'll get to that in a later episode. Now, the part of the moon that Earth can see makes up the phases. Now, there are 8 moon phases: new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Now, waxing means the moon is growing, and waning means it's shrinking. And just remember, it takes the moon 29.5 days to revolve around the Earth, which is the time it also takes to go through all of its phases. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Fun with Science.